Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I am Grant Anderson.
And I am Zane Meyer. Tonight on BBC, the topic of diseases. Do you have hemophilia? Try bloodletting. Do you have pleurisy? Take some dried ground boar's penis. But first, let's take you back to the good old days. Back to the Elizabethan Era, the golden age of England.
This amazing half-century brought us the height of English poetry, music, and literature, as well as a newfound riches, courtesy of the Spanish Empire. Tonight, we have a special treat, an interview with Philip II after the defeat of the invincible Spanish Armada.
But first, we will examine a rising literary star. Today, we travel into the world of literature to discuss a very talented but mysterious man, William Shakespeare. We go to our field reporter, Ellery, for the details.
Thank you, Zane. Little is known about this famous dramatist outside of his writings and official documentation from church and court records. In the early 1590s, he became a managing partner in Lord Chamberlain's Men Company, which was an acting company in London. His works can be divided into three distinct sections. The first era included historical plays, such as his three-part saga entitled Henry VI, and several comedies, such as the famed A Midsummer Night's Dream. The later era comprised mainly of tragedies, such as King Lear and Hamlet. His final several plays were considered tragicomedies, which were not as light-hearted as his earlier comedies, but typically ended happily, and provided vivid impressions of human temperament that are timeless and universal. Shakespeare's style was the conventional style of the day, consisting of elaborate metaphors and flowery language, but he adapted the traditional style to his own purposes and created a freer flow of words by using a blank verse style of composition, as well as inventing over 1,700 words. He is also associated with the beautiful Globe Theatre in London, which was commissioned by his performing group, Lord Chamberlain's Men. I decided to walk the streets to hear the public's opinion of this beautiful building. Hi there. What influence has the Globe Theatre had on the community?
Well, everyone is now able to attend. It's been a pleasure to watch some of the greatest performances in the world, even though I am but just a peasant. The only people who were able to enjoy plays before were those who were very wealthy, but there are now affordable tickets available for everyone.
There you have it. A wonderful experience for royalty and commoners alike.
After the break, the defeat of the Spanish Armada and an exclusive interview with King Philip II.
Tired of trumping through turds in the street? How about having to take it to the window to dump it? The flush toilet will dispose of your waste with a single touch. Now that's efficient.
Wow. No way. Oh my goodness.
End the plagues. Buy a flush toilet today. Fresh water and plumbing not included. Welcome back. Now for the defeat of the Spanish Armada.
Possibly the crowning achievement of the magnificent Queen Elizabeth is her defeat of the Spanish Armada, when a second-rate navy defeated the greatest power on the face of the earth. The fleet of 130 ships sailed in 1588 with consent of the Pope in the task of overthrowing the English Queen Elizabeth, a Protestant, and reincorporating England back into Catholicism and the fold of the papacy.
At the time of Elizabeth's rule, Spain controlled the territory of the Spanish Netherlands, which was predominantly Protestant, but was forced into Catholicism under the threat of the dreaded Spanish Inquisition. Holland wanted its independence from Spain's rule and religious persecution, and was aided in their efforts by the English, who were also Protestant.
Furthermore, English pirates such as Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh, and the rest of Elizabeth's sea dogs, were attacking and plundering Spanish ships with full consent from the Queen.
This angered King Philip II, who wished to put an end to these shenanigans. To do this, King Philip raised a massive armada of 130 ships and 30,000 men.
The endeavor was doomed from the start, having been attacked by Sir Francis Drake in Cadiz harbor, causing many ships to be sunk or damaged before they even left port, the death of their High Admiral, Santa Cruz, and the spoiling of the food and water prepared for the invasion force. Nevertheless, the order was given and the Armada left port and set sail for England in May of 1588, reaching England in that July.
Upon reaching England, the fleet met little resistance from the English Navy, who fired upon the 7-mile-long armada from a safe distance, doing little damage. After making its way up the English Channel, the armada anchored off Calais, France, to pick up more troops, but were left vulnerable to the English attack. It was there, at Calais, that the English sent the fleet into disarray.
In the night, the English sent 8 burning ships called hell burners into the harbor with the aim of burning down the Spanish ships. To avoid catching fire, the ships cut their anchors and sailed out into the English Channel out of formation, where they were attacked by the English. The superior English guns won the day, and the 67 remaining Spanish ships were forced to retreat and sail around Scotland and Ireland back to Spain.
King Philip!
King Philip! King Philip!
Over here!
You there.
So, King Philip, what are your thoughts on the crushing defeat of your armada?
While I'm disappointed by our performance, I do have faith in my men and our ability to beat England next time.
King Philip!
Over here!
You.
What do you attribute to the armada's loss?
Well, I send them to fight men, not the weather.
King Philip!
Over here!
With the fuzzy hat?
What do you think are the long-term effects of the defeat?
I think there will be no long-term effects. Spain is, and will always be, the greatest empire on earth. And as for the English, they will never amount to anything, and will remain a second-rate country.
King Philip! King Philip! Over here! King Philip!
You there?
How do you feel about Francis Drake and other English privateers plundering of Spanish gold and silver from the New World to fund the Holland Revolt?
It's a cheap shot. A right-out dirty trick. I find it interesting that Queen Elizabeth has the audacity to raid me while I am the greatest power on the face of the earth. There will be no more questions at this time. He is the most interesting monk in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I buy it bottled. Drink beer from the monastery. It is duty-free.
Hello and welcome back. To the Spaniards, he's a pirate. To the English, he's a hero. Either way, Francis Drake has made an impact on the world. Returning recently from his journeys, the famed privateer has returned from the 3-year odyssey around the world, proving the feat, long thought impossible, of circumnavigating the globe is a promising new reality.
Although we don't yet have all the facts, it appears he has returned with hull loaded with Spanish gold, and that have made his investors and himself quite wealthy men. It is rumored that the Queen herself is among them, and is expected to receive the lion's share of the wealth.
For those of you unfamiliar with his expedition, Drake set out with 5 ships, the Pelican, Elizabeth, Marigold, Swan, and the Benedict, back in December of 1577. His return with 1 ship in 1580 marked a feat long thought impossible, and is expected to boost confidence in the exploration of the New World.
Drake makes his living raiding the Spanish ships returning from Latin America with silver. He has been dubbed the Queen's personal pirate and is expected to receive a knighthood for his accomplishments.
I've been really trying, baby.
That concludes our show. Join us tomorrow night for the colonization of the Americas. Have a good evening.